Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. I have an incredible video for you guys and gals today. You're going to want to stick around. This is some crazy stuff, right? Numbers don't lie. I've been covering some crazy articles from the Silver Institute. Now we have CPM Group talking about silver could reach $50 again. Not even 10 years ago, silver was $50. A lot of people don't even know that, or they try to sweep it under the rug. But yeah, not even a decade ago, we saw $50 silver. So that price isn't that crazy. Every time I talk about $50 silver, people are like, oh, you're a silver pumper. But that's a very realistic price, especially looking at what led silver to $50 back then, comparing it to what's happening nowadays. If you want to talk about silver, silver prices being crazy, well, we're living in crazy times. I have an announcement to make first and foremost. I started a shorts channel. If you guys don't know, YouTube has this new beta thing called shorts. It's 15-second clips. And I launched a second channel called Silver Slayer Clips. I'm going to be posting tons of stuff on there. I already posted one showing off my favorite coin. You're going to see more of a behind the scenes, Silver Slayer life. I could post things with my daughter or whatever the case is. And I think this is going to be so fun and interesting because you can do so much more in a 15-second clip than you can with a 10-15 minute video covering a specific topic. So if I'm out doing something or if I see a cool coin I want to talk about, I could post it on this channel. So yes, subscribe to that channel if you're a fan of Silver Slayer. If you just like my content, it's going to be super fun. I'll be posting daily 15-second clips on there. I'm really excited about this. But yeah, let's jump into this article. Silver price could reach $50 again. After a couple of dips this year, the silver price is now holding roughly in the $27, $28 per ounce range, supported by strong investment demand. And it's crazy to think about. It's holding at $28. That's the new normal. The days of $22, $23 silver is over. Maybe even $25. I remember for so long, silver couldn't even break through $20. I've been posting videos for 6 years on this channel, and $21 silver, the July 2016 high, was crazy. We've seen silver at $15, $16 for so long, and now this is the new normal. The white metal was above the $28 threshold on Tuesday, May 18th, and it has been slowly trending up following a February peak of $28.55 and a subsequent decline. There's also something else I want to say. People get desensitized to prices. Think about this. I can compare it to Bitcoin perfectly. I was telling people to buy Bitcoin when it was $1,800 back in 2016, and people were like, that's way too high. And then it hit $3,000. And then people accept that price. Then it hits $5,000. And back when I was talking about $1,800 silver, people would have never thought Bitcoin would hit $5,000. But then when it's there, since it's there, then you accept that, and that's a normal price to you. It doesn't sound that crazy. Then it hits $10,000. And you would never thought Bitcoin would be $10,000. But then when it is, it's not that crazy to you, right? Just like with silver, it's going to hit 50. And right now it sounds crazy, but when it happens and we're in that moment, we're going to be desensitized to that price, and it's not going to seem that crazy. Right now it does because you've accepted this lower price. But if you really step back and look at the bigger picture, $50 silver is not that crazy, not even $100 silver if you look at the bigger picture. But anyways, despite its recent bumpiness, silver is still up significantly from a year ago. In May 2020, the silver price was sitting at $16 an ounce. You know what I'm saying? $20 silver was crazy back then. It was $16.50, and actually it was down to $11 2 months earlier, last March. So in the 12 months since then, silver's value has climbed 63%. Silver was actually the number one performing asset in 2020. If you don't watch my channel, you probably didn't know about that because nobody talks about it. I really do try to cover the truth. I'm never going to tell you stuff you don't need to know. You need to be subscribed, not for my sake, for your own. I'm being serious about that. I'm going to cover the most relevant, important stuff. So according to CPM Group's latest market overview, the metal is anticipated to continue its growth trend over the next 3 years at least. However, Jeffrey Christian said, the versatile metal is first likely to move sideways near current levels and could even test the $23 level before a substantial price tailwind is registered. And that's something that actually wouldn't be bad. It would probably scare a lot of the new investors because they've never really seen a quote unquote correction or a sell off to that magnitude. But hopefully people take advantage if it did get down to 23, which I couldn't see that with the amount of buying power with groups like Wall Street Silver and people nowadays realizing, I mean, Wall Street Silver is growing thousands of members a day. Silver has the most attention it's ever had. So if we start to see $25 silver, you're going to see people picking up on that. You know, it's not just about industrial. Individual investors have a huge pull in the market as well, which I don't think people give credit to. So we wouldn't be surprised to see the price go back up and test $30, $32 over the next several months. And you actually saw Citigroup, which is a bank, that was talking about $50 silver by the end of the year. And that's a bank, by the way. Banks hate silver, which is, that's very that's a very huge statement by them. He went on to note that market fundamentals have positioned the white metal to potentially surpass its previous $50 high set in 1980 and 2011. However, before that can happen, the metal will hit a relatively modest growth pace in 2021 or early 2022. At some point, we think the price of silver will rise and rise sharp. That increase we expect to coincide with the next financial and economic crisis. And that sharp rise could be a deal breaker. We're talking about astronomical highs. I don't think they gave it, they gave it as much due diligence as they mean by this, but all the stars have aligned. Gold, it's like a volcano. Gold and silver, both separate volcanoes. Gold's volcano has already erupted. Gold broke past $2,000, its all-time high it's ever been. Silver, which always follows suit after gold, hasn't erupted yet. We haven't seen that mirror, that reflection that always happens. We haven't seen that yet. So silver's volcano is still bubbling, and with everything all the different factors and things that are influencing silver's price, it's going to be astronomical, especially when you throw on all the stimulus and all the silver movement, the silver raid, the silver army as well. I mean, it's insane to think about the opportunity that lies ahead. So in his opinion, the next financial black swan may be closer than many think, and that's because of the pandemic. So our expectation is that growth rates moderate over the next year or two, and then we wouldn't be surprised to see another recession or close to a recession and a steep decline in global GDP and actually recessionary conditions in the industrial world's advanced economies in 2023, 2025, somewhere in that time frame. This will be further heightened by the residual effects of 2020's economic disruptions and the lingering impact of the 2009 market collapse. So they're throwing at, I don't like how they're almost saying that this is for sure what's going to happen. You have to incorporate the unknown variable. Things could be happening a lot quicker than this. You can't say 2023, 2025 without context and also without saying, what they mean by that. What are they talking about would be that time frame? Are they talking about $50 silver? Are they what do they mean by that? They have to give some more context, because if you're going to throw out 2025, that's 4 years. Back in 2008 to 2011, that took 3 years for silver to hit $50. But nowadays, back then was $1 billion stimulus, recession/depression. Nowadays, it's $1 trillion stimulus, recession/depression, and a global pandemic. So it took 3 years back then, but it could be a lot sooner now given the circumstances. So we think that the world is not really recovering from either. The problem that led to those two recessions have not been resolved, and in fact gotten worse in some ways. So we expect a major financial crisis, probably starting in some obscure corner of the debt markets, as those two did, and that would lead to a recession in the industrialized world and virtually zero growth on a global basis. So then we go into some controversy. They're talking probably about Wall Street Silver, because they go in to talk about cyber contention that has emerged around silver. The white metal is often described as manipulated. Discussions have erupted this year. Secrecy in the market prompted many silver analysts and market watchers to speak out. So gold and silver are the sort of things that most people don't know about, but everyone thinks they're an expert on. He said the dark corners of the internet, because they're not regulated as tight securities, equities, bonds, everyone's pretty much free to say whatever they want. Used part of his presentation to debunk some of the theories that are fueling the divide. And I don't know why there's a divide. We're all stacking silver. We're all on the same team. And the sad part about this is, like, I even covered a podcast of this guy that was just bashing Wall Street silver, talking about they're talking. He literally said they think that silver's going to go from $27 to $27,000. And nobody's talking about that. And they're talking about how they just want to sell their silver. So they want to pump and dump it. And that's not true at all. They would go on Wall Street silver. Nobody's expecting silver to go drastically high. Nobody is talking about dumping it back to fiat. They all understand fiat's true value, which is nothing. I mean, these are true silver stackers like you and I. It's just a place where we can share stuff. Maybe it started from Wall Street bets, but that doesn't mean that's what it is, and that's not what's defining it all these months later, right? It's messed up, because someone who's on Wall Street silver a lot, that sees the reality of it, it's just messed up. But people need to do their homework. If you're going to say something about something, at least go there and see what it's really about before you just throw an assumption out. So another is technology. And here, let me stop right there as well. A lot of this does have to do, like, the LBMA report saying that there was 1.15 billion and there's 1.14, but it's not even the. And then they're going to go even a step further and talk about people are saying that there's a silver shortage, but there's plenty of silver around, when I literally just covered a video from the Silver Institute talking about the demand over the next 20 years, actually as like 15, 20 years, and how it's going to go up to 675 million ounces, and how much, how rapid the demand for silver is going to be in electronics. And this article from the Silver Institute, which is the holy grail of information, numbers don't lie, right? The Silver Institute itself, you cannot get more more relevant. You can't get a better source than that. Nobody tops them. They are the top dog, and they are sitting here posting numbers showing that silver is going to be needed at a rapidly rising pace that we can't keep up with. There will be a silver shortage, and we're already starting to see it. If you don't believe me, then I've made tons of videos covering it. So, that stuff doesn't lie. The articles don't lie. Anyone who says it's plentiful, they don't have anything to back it. What they're going to say, oh, well, the SLV. No, it's not about that. We're talking about physical silver, what's coming out of the ground, what's getting thrown away, the demand of 5G electric vehicles, solar panels, so many other things, and why over the years we're going to need more and more silver, and the production will not be able to keep up with that. Plain as that. People don't look at it that way. They're going to try to come from a different light and try to deem it as something that it's not. And it just sucks, because we're all on the same team. You also address the secrecy around institutional silver bullion stores, often cited by those who believe in the silver market manipulation. And I don't think you can short squeeze silver. I hope you can't, because silver is a safe haven. It's supposed to be fundamental. It's supposed to go off supply and demand. It's interesting because they are trying to go off the supply and demand. So think about in like a year or two from now, Wall Street Silver is gaining thousands of members a day. They already are approaching 100,000 members in like 4 or 5 months. So think about in a year or two, they're going to have hundreds of thousands of members that do silver raids on a specific day. Last one was May 1st. So imagine hundreds of thousands of people all buying silver on the same day, or just buying silver in general. Silver is going to be more relevant and more talked about than gold. There's going to be a lot of people buying silver. You can't look at it from the past. You have to look going forwards. People always try to think what they know is what off past circumstance, but you have to adjust and adapt with the times. The times are new. We never had something like Wall Street Silver influencing thousands of people the day to start stacking. You have to think forwards before you can incorporate old data with an old situation. right? You got to see the bigger picture. And I don't know why I'm the only one that talks about this. We have gone through this whole issue of how much silver's out there. We've been doing this forever. We do it every year. We're very scholarly and studying this over and over, but over the last several years, we revisited basic data, studied very hard. So investment demand, whether it's coins, bars, ETFs, demand set new records in 2020, topping 80 million ounces of net purchases. The growth has been attributed to large amounts of liquidity infused in markets, blah, blah, blah. So in addition, we have a lot about silver market, CPM group, sharply multi-year lows. Was trend expected to keep the pace. Forecast 120 million ounces in net purchases. And if you really want to see the bigger picture, go to the video I talked about with the Silver Institute showing the numbers, the forecast for the next 20 years. It is insane. Like right now, we're like a fraction of that. And we're only going to need it more and more and more. And that's not just 20 years. We're talking about by 2050, zero net emissions. That's a global scale. So it's only going to get crazier. We have silver recycling about 215 million ounces for the current. Went on to note 200 million, 205 million in 2019. Won't be surprised to see silver recycling somewhere in 210 million or 215 million ounce range. So there's a lot of gray area. It looks like the silver community is divided, and that sucks because we're all in the same team. I just think it's a lot of miscommunication. A lot of people are just judging and assuming before they look into it, and I hate that. It would be different if they actually knew and they were basing it off of real things, but they're just assuming Wall Street silver, just a bunch of Reddit users that switched over from Wall Street bets and don't really care about silver. They're just buying it, try to pump and dump it, and that's not the case whatsoever. If they would go on there, they would see that. Yes, that might be how it started. The actual Reddit forum started, but now actual silver stackers have flooded it, people that actually love silver. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Like I said, go over to my shorts page, Silver Slayer clips. I'm going to be posting daily 15-second clips, tons of different stuff, coins, unboxings, just stuff throughout my day. If I see something cool I'm going to post, throw it on here, right? It's so unique. You're going to see such a different angle of my content. And if you enjoy my content, then make sure you go subscribe. I'm going to wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. See you guys soon. Peace.